Okay, in this next tutorial we're going to create a simple button. I'm going to go ahead and choose a square, and then I might add a little bit of corner points to it and have it just be a really large button. Um, if I select the whole thing and convert it to a symbol and call it button 1 or whatever, and I'm going to leave it on button here, it becomes a symbol that I can't really edit from here. If I try to paint on it, it doesn't paint on the actual button. Okay. Now if I was to just double click on it, it takes me into this button editing mode. Now you see that there's an up keyframe, and that's what the button's going to look like when nobody is moving over it or clicking it or anything. Alright, if I was to insert a keyframe here for over, it copies the first keyframe, and I could change the color for that. Let's say when you move your mouse over it, that's what the over is, maybe it turns bright blue. If I hit down, that's when you click it, maybe I want that to be a red. The hit area, that really doesn't matter what color it is. It can be rainbow for whatever it's worth, because all the hit area is the area that you can actually click on. In fact, if you were to erase most of this and just have a tiny little area, that little tiny area would be the only area you could click for this button. I'm going to go ahead and leave it and go back over here. You can also add a layer here on your button, so that if I put in some text here and it says click me, and maybe make this a little bit larger here. I'm probably going to want it to be a different color, black for example. Alright, and now you see that this goes all the way across, and that's okay with me. So I'm going to go back to my scene now, out of my button, and I see that there's this button here. And if I go to test my movie, move my mouse over it, and click it, you see that that works. Now I have a little bit of a problem in here, because when I go into my font, it doesn't let me click. And I'll show you the problem here. If I double click this and it opens it back up, I can click this and I can actually click a modify, break apart. And then I'll do it again. You see how it broke it into sections. Modify, break apart, and that makes it a graphic. Okay? And so if I go back to my scene and test my movie, the whole thing works as a button. Okay, now the other thing that's kind of cool, again with the sound effects, if I was to double click it, and I'm going to open my window, Common Libraries, Sounds. You can use any MP3 or WAV file. I recommend using small ones because it does really build up your the size of your movie. So let's say when somebody moves their mouse over it, you have this cloth rip sound, which will sound like that. When they actually click it, maybe we want the clunk, squeak, loop sound. Alright, so now I'll test it. Alright, so now we have a basic button. Go back to my scene here. Now the nice thing about having this button set is you can scale it. It could be whatever size you want, anywhere you want it on the page. Nothing changes. Alright, so I hope that's helpful for you. Next time I'll show you how to animate a button.